Britain's out of recession, but only just. The economy grew by 0.1% in the last 3 months of 2009, ending almost 2 years of negative figures. The nerves remain over the strength of the recovery, though, in particular the threat of so-called double-dip recession. Well, let's call up the former Trade Minister, Lord Digby Jones, joining us from Birmingham. A very good evening to you. You're now the UK's business ambassador. Do you feel like an ambassador who should be shouting from the rooftops, "We're back, we're over the worst"?
Do you know, I really do hope that in this very febrile political environment at the moment, up to a general election in a couple of months or whatever, I do hope that the politicians don't start saying we're off into the sunlit uplands of economic growth. And it's not like that at all. I think this is a statement today about what happened in the last quarter, and we probably came out of recession around October. But you see, all it's saying really is it's not getting any worse. It's not actually saying that we're really on the road back, and I don't want this magnified by anybody. We've got some serious challenges ahead. We've got businesses' confidence is still very fragile. Smaller businesses. I've been speaking to quite a few of them today, and out in the manufacturing heartland, and you know, so many of them are saying, well, I'm not going to borrow any more money because the banks beat me up last time. I'm not going to employ any more people because at the end of the day I don't know whether this is going to last. And therefore we need a resurgence of confidence which will come with time. And I think 2010 is going to be a year of consolidation, bubbling along, getting a little bit better. I think the worst is over by a mile, but this isn't, hey, way, great stuff, let's go off and go back to the old bad habits. It's not like that at all.
But in the race for recession, why is it that the UK seems to be the last to limp out of the starting gate, while most of our competitors or colleagues in Europe, say, or the Western world seem to be already around the first lap?
I think firstly, it's because we did have a dependency. I don't believe in over-dependency. I think we have a first-class financial services sector, and it's a big tax generator. It's about 8% of our GDP. Manufacturing's 12%. You know, it's not huge in its turnover terms, but it's a genuine value-added sector. It delivers about 18–20% of our taxation revenue. Well, if you've got that sort of dependency on the sector, which is absolutely the one that was at the forefront of the malaise and the decline, you're going to feel it more quickly. Government is going to have to do a lot more to prop it up, and therefore the economy is going to be in worse shape coming out. So it's a financial services area, but it's not beat up a banker and blame them time. You know, what we need is good regulation properly enforced, a sense of responsibility in the banks, but at the same time, we do want them to be here doing it, because without their tax, we can't build schools and hospitals. But then the other thing we need, and this is the other problem we've had, is that obviously manufacturing didn't get the government help that the French and the Germans, the Americans and the Japanese gave their manufacturers. This government did not help manufacturing in the way that they helped everybody else, and because of that, you've actually got manufacturers now, they could really go and clean up around the world. Weak sterling means that the goods they sell are cheaper in other markets. There's people unemployed who we could bring in with skills, but the problem is that there's no confidence to do it because the government didn't help them through. Whereas if you were a German manufacturer, you got lots of help. It wasn't bailout, lame ducks or anything else. It was about keeping the skill integrity together in the business.
Isn't one of the worst things we could possibly have now a general election with all that entails?
I think one thing that we need is a reconnection of the governed with the governing. And by the way, that might be a re-election of this government, it might be the election of another government. It's not a party political point, but we need the electorate to have their say, and we need them to actually be connected again, because through the expenses scandal, through the recession, through the feeling that people are a little bit helpless in the way the country's going, you need that reconnection that only democracy can give you. And of course, that means that whenever it is, people have to go out and vote. You know, people died in the Second World War so we can vote, so let's honour that by voting, whatever the vote may be. But what we do need is that reconnection to establish a government with a refreshed mandate going forward, whoever it may be. It could be either side. I'm not going into the party political side. It's just the nation needs that re-emergence, if you like.
Let's hope somebody can find the handle to crank up the machine of the economy. Lord Digby Jones, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.